Hey, happy Tuesday. I trust that we all had a great weekend. I'm a little bit late today, so we'll see if anybody pops on because listen, I've been hopping on here when the Lord pushes me to do so. So that is my new strategy. I just have a day that I'm going to go live and I do so when the Lord pushes me roughly around 12:15. So, welcome if you are here. If you're watching the replay of this, then welcome. My name is Shanice. And listen, hey, Sherry, what's up? Listen, I'm saying I'm way too late. I don't know if anybody is going to pop on today, but I appreciate you popping on. So, we're taking the topic that we talked about in my last, end of the last live about getting your book into bookstores. And so we're going to talk a bit about that today in this video. So the title of the video is how to get your book into bookstores. But what we're actually going to talk about is how to get your products into bookstores because it's sometimes it's we're limiting ourselves in our thinking that you want to get your book in a bookstore. That's why you're writing a book. But there are lots of different products that you could potentially sell that could make its way into a bookstore that is not an actual book, right? So bookstores sell bookmarks, they sell sticky notes, they sell journals, they sell planners. Like bookstores sell a wide variety of stationery items. So it's not about just people who are writing books. This could be something useful for anyone who is within the stationery industry or even other industries like tote bags and different things like that. Bookstores do stock some of these products. And so the video is called How to Get Your Book into Bookstores because that's perhaps better for search and better for the algorithm. But in reality, what we are talking about is just how to get your products into bookstores. So yeah. How was your weekend, Cherry? Did you do anything to celebrate? All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, and I do have a couple of notes on my sticky notes here so I don't get sidetracked as I tend to do, is establishing yourself as an author. So that is one thing that I jot down here. And when it comes to establishing yourself as an author or establishing yourself as a small business owner, this looks like having a website, right? There's a video on my channel that teaches you how to set up a simple website. This looks like having your offer clear. So what are the products that you're going to be selling or offering? You need to be clear about those products and how they can benefit the user. And also just being clear on who are you selling this product to and who are you creating this product for. So making sure you have a clear target audience, making sure you have a clear platform for them to purchase, making sure that your offer is clear and it is solving the need of that target. And some of those things are just what you need to do as you look to establish yourself as an author or a small business owner. Your weekend was restful and relaxing. That's nice. Mine was restful and relaxing as well. I didn't really do much, which is why my video was late today because I was like, you know what? I am going to relax this weekend. I need to be taking my Sabbath rest. And I definitely did that. So, yeah. And I feel like I got a little bit of clarity over the weekend too. So, definitely important to be resting. So that was that first point, just making sure that you are fully established in your business. If it's a self-publishing business, if it's a stationery business, if it's a little print on demand business, just making sure that you are fully established in your business and you know what you have to offer. You know what makes you stand out, what makes you unique. And this is something that I covered in my ebook, which I just released. It's called From Passion to Profits. And the reason I called it Passion to Profits is because that was my exact journey, right? So I started off my stationery business because I absolutely love stationery. I love sticky notes. I love journals. I'm always journaling. I believe in the benefits of journaling. And so when I started my business based on passion. And that passion led to huge profits. And so I decided to title this ebook From Passion to Profits to just encourage anyone who does have a passion and want to tap into that, wants to monetize that. You want to feel like you're doing something purposeful. And a lot of times we feel that sense of purpose when we are walking in and just kind of utilizing our passion. So that's why I titled that ebook that way. And I titled it also like, make your first $100, because I don't want this to be about like just thinking about success in those large numbers, but instead just mastering the art of earning $100 and then being able to replicate that. So being able to flip that. And so that's kind of why I know the title might sound a little bit off. It's like, girl, $100, but and it's really for beginners. It's really for newbies. And it's also beneficial for anybody who wants to gain some clarity, but that ebook is really for beginners. So if you're looking to tap into your passion, then that is something that you can check out. It's also going to help you to clarify your offer. So although it's for beginners, if you are established, but you're like, I don't even know what I'm trying to do, I don't even know who I'm selling to, I don't even know how to find out who I'm selling to, then I did include some resources in that ebook to kind of help you establish that. And a lot of it was from personal experience, and it was from things that I had to do myself because, listen, moving from running the stationery business to now trying to offer consulting services, it can cause, some type of confusion because you're like, God, what am I doing? With this, I don't feel like I'm being effective at anything that I'm doing. So I had to really sit back and I had to really clarify my offer and clarify what is it that I actually wanted to do. And if you are a multi-passionate person like me, then you probably feel this exact way. Like you probably have so many things that you're trying to do, and you're just like, I don't feel like I want to tap into any one thing. Why do I need to box myself in? And for a long time, that was my mindset too. Like, oh, I don't want to box myself in. And then I thought about it, and it's just like, it's not really boxing yourself in. It's doing what's most advantageous in this season. And sometimes what's most advantageous is choosing one thing, mastering that thing, and then adding on other things. And so that's a strategy that I do recommend in the ebook as well. It's Don't think of a niche as a bad thing. I know a lot of people online are trying to make people feel like a niche is a bad thing, but a niche is actually a really good thing. And the people who are trying to tell you that a niche is a bad thing are the same people who made a lot of money because they were in a niche previously. So don't listen to anyone who's trying to tell you, oh, you don't need to niche down, you don't need to do this. You do need to kind of have a niche as you are starting out a business. Think about it. If you're going to sell a product, are you going to sell a bunch of different products, just random products? You're not Publix. You're not Walmart. You're not Amazon. You know what I mean? You are selling a product. So you're either going to be selling a handbag or a purse or a cup or mugs. Like that is what it is. That's just what business is. I'm going to come to you because you sell a cup, and you're going to come to me because I sell the spoon. Yes, later on you can expand and you can start selling cups and spoons. But a lot of times you're also going to find that one product is going to be bringing in majority of your sales. And that's true for, sometimes you see Etsy shops. This is a perfect example. Sometimes you see Etsy shops and they have hundreds of items. Would you believe that most of their sales, sometimes 80 to 90% of their sales, are coming from just 10% of their inventory? And so that tells you that niching is something that is beneficial. And it does prove itself to be useful as time goes on. So don't think about a niche as bad. So if you're an author, or if you're selling stationery, or if you're looking to start a small business, then establish yourself as an authority figure in whatever area you choose to go into. But get very specific with that, as specific as possible. So that's point number one. Point number two is to build relationships. So the last time I was talking about getting your book into bookstores or getting your products into bookstores, I mentioned cold emailing. And I'm actually going back on that and switching that up. And I'm actually saying, we don't want to be cold emailing these bookstores. We want to build some relationships. So building relationships looks like, if you're talking local to where you live, find those bookstores and visit them, support them, purchase something, talk to the people who you're seeing in the bookstores. If you are looking at bookstores that are not in your area, find them on social media, find their website, follow them, interact with their posts on social media, share their posts on social media, so that when you do reach out, they may perhaps already be familiar with you, right? So when you do send that DM or you do send that email, they're not just thinking, oh, this stranger is just, who is this person? You know what I mean? And remember, the first point was to be established, right? So, as an author, as a business owner, if you're selling stationery, then you need to make sure that you have your social media accounts set up, right? If you want to put author in your bio, something like that. A lot of people choose to put author in their name, right? So, author Shanice or whatever. If you want to do that, do that. Or if you want to title it the name of your best selling book, do that. So they're already familiar. If you're liking their posts and you're interacting, they're already seeing your name being popped up, right? Instagram or wherever you're on, they're already going to be putting you on their feed because you are intentionally interacting with these accounts. You're building that relationship. So now, instead of cold emailing, you are warm emailing, right? Because you kind of already warmed them up to the fact that you're an author and this is what you're looking to do. You already warmed them up to the fact that you sell these products and this is something that you're looking to do. And I did that with my stationery business a lot. So on TikTok, I'm following these companies that are selling book boxes, right? I'm interacting with authors who are purchasing book boxes. And so whenever someone wants to launch their own book box, they're reaching out to me like, "Hey, can I feature your sticky notes in my book box?" or something like that, or even sending a little free sample. So somebody says, "Hey, I'm about to launch a book box. I'm looking for free samples." It's not, you should have enough in your marketing budget. And this is going to be something that you can write off on your taxes, right? So you should have something in your marketing budget where you can send a couple free samples, right? And that's another way to spread the word. I sent out lots of free samples of my products. Just make sure you have your business card. For me, since I have a stationery business, I do have business card bookmarks, right? So that's what I do. This is actually two because, I like to save money. So I put two and then I cut it down. So one gives me two bookmarks and I include this. So if I'm sending out 10 samples, I'm including 10 business cards in there so they can include it. And it looks like a bookmark so they can put it in the box as an extra item. So just little things like that is what you want to do as you look to one, establish yourself, and two, build relationships. And then the third point I have here on my little sticky note is to diversify. And honestly, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I'm perhaps going to make a video on this. Is my biggest mistake publishing on Amazon KDP was not diversifying. And I've been thinking about this a lot over the last couple of days. That was my biggest mistake, in my opinion, is not diversifying. And not diversifying in the sense of not putting enough of my books on my website and really just like selling it through my website, driving the traffic to my website as opposed to driving the traffic to Amazon. Not really, like I did mostly journals and planners and things like that, but not like fully building that out to the point where it could be something standalone. And so I feel like that was my biggest mistake. So when my KDP account got terminated, it was almost like, what's going to happen to all my journals? And I was actually in such a bad place when my account got terminated, that a lot of my best selling books, like my budget planner, and then my locked hair care journal, like I had lost because I was saving all of my files on my computer, and I actually lost all of those files. And I was just like, so now I have to start from scratch to create all of those documents. And it was the worst thing in the world. I'm like, I can't even republish this because I uploaded the PDF to KDP. I had an issue with my computer and I just lost everything. And I'm just like, I don't want that to happen to anybody. It's like, Listen, I almost cried. I almost cried. And to this day, I still have not like republished the budget planner, which was one of my bestsellers. I did republish the locked hair care journal because I had that on Etsy. So not only was I selling that on Amazon, but again to the point of diversifying, I was also selling my locked hair care journal on Etsy, which is actually where I started. So I started selling it on Etsy first. So I had it on Etsy as like a 1 month. So all I had to do when I downloaded that PDF from Etsy, thank God Canva allows you to upload PDFs now. So I uploaded that PDF into Canva and I was able to just kind of make a few changes and then duplicate that file. But everything else was gone. And that's because I was creating on Apple Pages before. And me being cheap in my business, I didn't like upgrade to have more space on Apple Pages. Versus now, I pay monthly for Canva. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating most of my books, like pretty much everything I do in my business, like graphic wise, I create them in Canva now. So at least I know I won't like lose the entire file. But even that is a challenge because I find like when you create bigger files in Canva, so when you create a book that has like 100 or 200 pages in Canva, it starts to move slow or it just like doesn't it just doesn't really function as well when you have like bigger files in Canva. So Google Docs is also a great resource, but just diversifying early on and when, as your business grows or if anything happen, just goes wrong, at least you know that you are already established on certain platforms and you're not just now fighting to get on those platforms. And I actually I see a lot of people moving in and out. So I don't know if I have like subscribers or if I'm like going on the shorts feed and I'm just talking. But if you guys have any questions, this is probably a good place to break for questions because I have the tendency when I go live to just kind of talk because sometimes you don't know if somebody is actually still there interacting with you. Well, I know Sherry's here, but otherwise from that, if you guys have any questions, you can always ask a question and stop me in my rambling and talking. But so the video that I put out today, Sherry says yes. So the video that I put out today was covering self-publishing, but without Amazon KDP. And it was really just like a pros and a cons type of video. And something that I said in that video in terms of like diversifying was even tapping into platforms like Ingram Spark. And this is most applicable. Let me make this disclaimer. This is most applicable if you are publishing like a fiction or a nonfiction book. So something that you really spend a lot of time working on. It could also apply to like a journal or a planner, but anything you feel as though you really invested time and effort into it. So, hey, how are you? Thank you for popping in. So if you have anything that you really invested your time, your effort, perhaps you invested some money, you got a graphic designer, you got an illustrator, if you are publishing anything of that nature, I would highly recommend purchasing your own ISBN, right? So the number that identifies your book. I highly recommend purchasing your own and then going the route where you are publishing it to KDP. You're not selecting expanded distribution, which means that this book is only going to be sold on Amazon. Amazon is not going to send your book to any other bookstores. So you choose not to have expanded distribution on KDP. Again, you have your own ISBN. And then you take that same book and you publish it to either Ingram Spark or you publish it with what's the other one, like Drafted Digital. You publish it with any of those other little publishing companies that will get your books into bookstores. So that way you can get the higher royalties coming from Amazon because you are going to get the highest paid royalties from Amazon. So you get that from Amazon, but then your book is already made available to other smaller stores. And that's going to be done through Ingram Spark. So, but again, this is only if you are publishing something that you put a lot of work into. If you're just publishing like a lined journal or, like just something really simple, easy to create, don't even waste your time purchasing an ISBN because ISBNs, to be honest, they're not like super cheap. I think if you pay like 200 and something dollars, you can get like 10, which is perhaps the best deal. but one may be like $40. And I'm not, this is not like a direct quote or anything. I could be off by these numbers, but I feel like about 200 and something dollars gets you 10. And then maybe like 40 something dollars gets you one, which means it's not super cheap, and definitely going 10 is the best buy. But then you're shelling out over $200. But again, only if you're publishing something that, you know, it's worth it for you. Something that I read on Ingram Spark today, and I made sure to include it in the book, and I think I can actually pull it up because I don't want to misquote this. But basically they were saying, like, if you use a free ISBN through a self-publishing platform, it will hold that platform's imprint, right? So this means that the platform is recognized as the ultimate owner or publisher of the work. When I saw that sentence, I was like, no wonder people like talk about how their accounts get terminated and KDP is holding on to their book. Because if they're recognized as the ultimate owner, of course they hold on to it. They technically own it. So that's another benefit of getting your own ISBN. And listen, when I read that sentence, I was like, and this is an official document from Ingram Spark that I saw that sentence. I was like, do you know how powerful that sentence is? They are recognized as the ultimate owner and publisher of the work. So ISBNs can be expensive. Let me check the actual price as we are here to be correct, because I don't want to give us the wrong price, but I feel like so 10 ISBN. Oh, wait, hold up. I was so off on this. So one ISBN, according to myidentifiers.com, one ISBN is $125, but 10 of them is $295. So it definitely makes sense to buy 10 as opposed to buying one, because that's a lot. And then you can get 100 of them for $575. So, you know, it ain't cheap. It's a pretty penny for sure. But it's worth it depending on what you're publishing. It's definitely worth it. All right, and so as we are going through, so you've established yourself, you've built a relationship with the bookstore, you've diversified, so you've made sure that your book or whatever you're selling is available on multiple platforms, including your own website, hopefully. The fourth thing you want to do is reach out. So now is when you're going to reach out to them, right? Now is when you're going to say, hey, I'm an author, or hey, I have a stationery shop, or hey, I sell journals or I sell planners. And now you're going to let them know how your product is going to be, you know, can benefit their store. You can kind of let them know that your product has already been successful. However, I was doing some research on this morning, and something that I saw on Ingram Spark was that apparently bookstores don't like it when you mention that your book has done well on Amazon, because Amazon is, of course, their biggest competitor. And so they don't really like, you know, they want to deal with indie authors. They don't really like when people are saying, you know, when people do so well on Amazon. So I don't know. I thought that was a weird thing to write, but that's what I read. So if you're going to reach out, don't brag about how well your book has been doing on Amazon if it has been doing well. And then another thing you can do as you're reaching out is to, if you've established yourself on a platform like Fair, and I've made a video on Fair, but Fair is a platform that I've sold on in the past. So this is like a little catalog that I have with just some of the products in my stationery shop. And my products have been featured in small bookstores. So small Black-owned bookstores have featured some of my sticky notes and my bookmarks and things like that. So it is definitely possible. Even a bookstore in Canada had featured some of my products. So when you get on platforms like Fair, you are, again, widening your scope, right? So now you're being exposed to a lot more platforms, that a lot more people than you previously were. So definitely, if you're able to get on Fair, I would recommend trying to get on there. Fair does have a tag that says not on Amazon, and I think that's just the funniest thing in the world. So if your book is not on Amazon, that might be something that, again, helps you to stand out to people who are really looking to support smaller people who are not on Amazon. So yeah, that was the funniest thing to me, seeing that. I was like, okay. And I even put like some of my journals, I was like, not on Amazon. I'm like, girl, you lying. You know you published this book on Amazon. But that's just something to note if you're looking to tap into platforms like Fair. So if you got terminated on Amazon, you can still republish your book on, other platforms like Lulu or something like that. And then you could take it not on Amazon, and that might be something that somebody decides to purchase from you because, hey, you're an indie author, or hey, you're doing this, without such a big platform. So definitely a selling point if that is applicable to you. Don't go lying like me. Don't go lying. So yeah, let's see. Anything else any questions? I'm thinking about anything else that's worth mentioning in terms of expanding your reach. So as I said, the title of this does say bookstores, but does say books, but this is applicable if you're selling, bookmarks or stickers or anything that complements books. Like a lot of the people who, sorry guys, there's like a bug. I just got distracted for like 2 seconds. But a lot of people who do you have a tutorial explaining how to put your book on your own website? I do not, but you know what? I'll make a note of that because it's actually really simple for me to create. Let me make a note of that. Listen, if it's one thing about me, I'm gonna have a planner, but I'm gonna write all over the planner. Okay, maybe that'll be my next video since I'm kind of like behind on videos. But it really, what is it? Is it a plugin? I don't think it's a plugin. I think you do it in Lulu. I'll still show you, but I think when you go into Lulu, there's just like a connection button and then you sign into your website. I don't think there's a plugin. Maybe for Shopify there's a plugin, but I have a Shopify now. Woohoo! So I do have a video coming out on Shopify. It's not a tutorial. It's really just me talking about my decision to get on Shopify and just my experience with setting up that Shopify store. So after that video, then I'll put the video on how to sell your books on your own website as well as on Shopify. But listen, I do not like Shopify. I don't like it. I don't like it. I much, much, much prefer WooCommerce. And I'm not even excited for this Shopify bill that's gonna hit. I did click on a link and get like the first month for $1, but I'm not excited for this Shopify bill that's gonna hit me in the next couple of days because I'm just not even looking forward to it. But I do pay for Calendly. So I'm trying to find a way to put my coaching calls on Shopify so that way I can stop paying for Calendly and then it would kind of work itself out. Because as you grow in your business and as you start to offer more products, it's the more you have to pay. So the expenses just keep on coming. And I'm a person, I like to keep my expenses down. So if I do find that Shopify works well for this first month, then I'll most likely just upgrade to the yearly plan so that way I can save money because listen, find ways to save money in your business because if you're paying for BookBolt and Canva and Calendly and your website hosting fees and shipping fees, we need to find ways to save money as much as possible. And my email list has been growing, which is a really, really good thing. I'm so happy that my email list has been growing. But now I need to upgrade. And listen, email marketing can be so expensive. So I'm just trying to find ways to save in my business. But the reason I'm on Shopify is because Shopify is the only platform that integrates with YouTube. And I'm just like, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try because I've been experimenting with different ways and we're done talking about books and bookstores. And I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about until we end this live. Just so you know, that's what's happening. So if you have questions, you can ask them. I'm working on creating an email list. Yay! Yay! Are you creating a little product to offer? I love email lists. I'm not I'm not the best at it just because I don't do it consistently. And when I first started my email list, I had just had this fear that if I send an email, people are going to unsubscribe. But then it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? You have to send an email, because if you don't send an email, what's the point of having the email list? And if they unsubscribe, then that's great. That means that the people who stayed subscribed are the people who are actually interested in you and your product, which is great. So I'm all for email marketing right now. The expense is crazy, but you made a good decision regarding Shopify. Listen, what I'm happy you think so. I'm happy you think so. I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see that it proves itself. So one reason why I went on Shopify, and I do share this in the video, is because I'm trying to reduce the amount of time between hearing how good this product is and making the purchase. Sometimes people hear, oh, I do want to go grab that ebook, but then they have to go to the description. They have to click the link. They have to wait for your website to load. Then they have to go through, and then they have to check out. So I've been reading about just kind of, if you reduce some of those steps, it's likely that they make that purchase decision a lot faster. So having something, which is why social shopping is such a big thing right now, because you talk about how great this cup is. You have a link to the cup right there. They can just go ahead and purchase that cup. It's no more where they have to go to the link in your bio, go over to Amazon, go over and purchase the product. So I've been trying to tap into social marketing because I know that that is a big marketing trend right now. And that is the only reason why I went with Shopify. Is Shopify that expensive? That's why then, because it's connected to YouTube, they know. Yeah, so Shopify is $39, I believe, every month. And then it drops to $29 if you pay yearly. I think that's the cost of it. But what I'm noticing is that in order for your Shopify to work well, it seems like you do have to pay additional money for certain plugins. For instance, I am selling mostly digital products. Now, Shopify does have a free plugin for digital products. However, it has a 2-star review. So initially, I was like, I'm not installing any app with a 2-star review. Like, that's going to give me a whole ton of headache. Like, if somebody purchased a digital product and it doesn't get delivered to their inbox, now I have to manually send the product. Like, that's a whole ton of headache. So I tried to install one of the apps that had a 5-star. When I go, they're talking about $15 a month. I'm like, so that's $39 plus $15. So that went up to what? I can't even do the math right now, because I just sound like this is getting too much. And then if I want to do like a calendar app, it's like I have to go with a low rated one that's free, or I have to pay another $15 a month to get this app. And I don't know how I feel about that, because on my website, I pay like $50 for the entire year. I don't have to pay anything to WooCommerce every month. I don't have to install any additional apps for digital products. I think if I want to sell like a subscription, I have to install something else, and it may cost a little bit more. But I mean, you get to the point of selling a subscription, it's like, you're already doing so well in your business. They do know how to get the money. They do. So, I'm like, how I look at things in my business is I always look at my expenses first. So I say, okay, I need to sell 2 digital products to pay for Shopify. So the first 2 digital products each month is just Shopify. And then everything else is, my profit, my other little expenses and things like that. And that's how I look at my coaching too. So it's always like, okay, I need to get 1 text coaching to pay for Calendly. Or, I just need to get these amount of things to pay for these expenses. And then everything else that's left over is, taxes and profit. That's just like how my math brain, because I'm not good at math and I hate budgeting, even though I have a minor in accounting. I'm just like, I can't. And that is so I'm going to update. Last thing I'm going to talk about before I pop off of here is, so this is my Boss Business Planner. I'm going to redo it, and then I may put it on the Shopify store through Lulu. But something that I need to redo it is to make sure that I have a section for budgeting, because that's what I've been doing. I've just been using like the notes section to track income from different sources, because I have a bunch of income coming in from all over the place. And then I have a bunch of expenses from all over the place. So I've been saying that I need to redo the business planner so that it's really a one-stop shop. You know what I mean? So you can track your content, you can track the different things you need to do, but you can also track your income and your expenses. And that's going to make things a lot easier when it comes to tax time, because that's always the worst part, is you get to tax time and you're like, now you got to find all these different 1099s, you got to find all these different, but if you have somewhere where you can just kind of jot it down. And I like to write. I know some people do like pay more money, pay for QuickBooks, or they have like a spreadsheet. I don't know. Let me know. How do you guys track your expenses in your business? What have you been doing? Because last year I didn't do a very good job. And when it came to tax time, I had to go back and create income statements and balance sheet and all kind of stuff at the end of the year, and it was really, really difficult. So what have you guys been doing, like in terms of managing your expenses and your income in your small business? If that's not too much of a personal question. You type it out in a spreadsheet. Okay, nice. Nice. And that's like, yeah, I definitely think spreadsheets is like, do you have your spreadsheet set up to the point where it calculates everything for you? So you have an Excel file as well? It's still, so do you have your Excel file where it just like calculates your totals for you, or do you like don't have it set up to that point? Because I've seen those Excel sheets and I'm just like, I should probably learn how to use this, because that's almost like a QuickBooks sort of, if you're doing it in Excel or like on, I don't remember what Google spreadsheets called. AutoSum. You see, let me write that down, because you use basic formulas. See, I don't know nothing about Excel. Okay. I'm gonna get my with the notepad. Yes, I'm about finished with it. You know, Sherry, I'm about finished with it. I've just been let me tell you what the dilemma is. The dilemma is that I feel like I have this thing where I need to, and I don't know if this makes any sense. So off when my phone is ringing. I feel like I have this thing where I just need to completely move away from the name Shanice DK Designs. And I could just be thinking things because I'm an overthinker, but I feel like I just need to completely break away from Shanice DK Designs as a name, as a brand, as an everything. I just feel like every time I think about it, I just get like a bad feeling, just because of everything that happened with KDP and the termination and them getting it back together. And it's just like, I'm just like, I don't even want Shanice DK Designs to be anywhere. Besides that one book that I republished on KDP and I left it there, that says Shanice DK Designs. I don't want Shanice DK Designs to be on anything else. Nothing. And I think I may leave it on my TikTok just because it's too much, but even later on, I may still change it. I'm not even sure. But I just want to break away from Shanice DK Designs. And so on YouTube, I changed the name, as most of you can see. It's the Shanice on Biz, which I really like. And it just fits more of what my content on YouTube is, because my content is business content, so that fits. But then my Etsy, I was like, and the next part of this too is I don't want to have like too many different platforms. That my sister was like, oh my gosh, you have so many different Instagram. You have so many. I don't want to have too many things to manage, because when you try to manage too many things, my ADHD brain is not going to really work out. You know what I mean? I'm going to get confused. I'm going to spend too much time on one thing, not enough time on the other thing. So that's my biggest thing right now is I did create a new name for the stationery company. But my thing, what I'm trying to figure out is, do I want to just like rename Etsy, my Etsy shop, to the name of the current stationery company? Because my Etsy was all about stationery. So it would be simple to just kind of rename the Etsy shop as this new stationery company and then just continue selling stationery under this new name and then create new TikToks, new everything, as opposed to letting that Etsy die off and then creating a whole new Etsy shop, like a brand new Etsy shop. So that's kind of where I am. And that's kind of why I haven't made a move towards putting it out yet, because I haven't quite decided like what would be the best approach. And it probably doesn't matter, which is why I say that I'm an overthinker, because it really doesn't matter what I choose to do. But that's kind of where I am, is trying to make that decision. I'm trying not to rush a decision because I feel like for most of my business journey, I've always rushed. I know, using too many platforms. Yeah, it is stressful. It's stressful. And so to be on so many different platforms with so many different accounts and so many, like, listen, I created an Etsy shop, named it after my grandmother, saying that I'm going to use this to publish faith-based teas, like print-on-demand faith-based teas. You want to know that I don't remember the password for the Etsy account, and every time I try to log in, I don't remember the password, and I'm like trying to reach out to Etsy, like, can you shut down this shop because I have no idea how to log in. I can't, I just I don't know. I didn't write down the information, so it's like I'm just trying not to, I want to make it make sense. I want to make it make sense. So I don't want to create a bunch of different stores and a bunch of different Etsy shops and da, da, da. So yeah, I'm waiting on God to direct me. Like how I feel like he directed me with Shanice on Biz, because it was like literally 3 a.m. It was 3 a.m. And I just felt God saying, it's time to be done with this. And I was just like, what am I going to call it? I don't know. And I'm like, oh, Shanice on Biz. And it was 3 a.m. and I got up out of bed because I couldn't fall asleep. I got up, I went on Canva, I created the logo. I literally did this whole rebranding at 3 a.m. I went back to sleep at 5 because I spent the 2 hours just kind of went back to sleep at 5, woke up at like 7 o'clock, and I just felt like a book was in my head. And I'm like, why do I feel like this? And I sat down at my computer and I spent 8 hours literally just pumping out the ebook. And my husband was like, you need to go get something to eat. You didn't take your walk today. And I'm just like, I know, but I just have to get this information out because it's just like in my brain. Listen, and then next thing you know, I have a whole new platform and a whole new ebook that I'm trying to market. So it's like, I know it's going to come to me the right move when it comes to me. So I'm trying not to rush it, but I feel like I'm leaning towards just renaming Shanice DK Designs on Etsy because I do have a good amount of sales. I have built up people who purchase stationery through that platform. So I may just do that, but I don't know. But by next week, I'm going to let you know. And I'm going to email it to you. I'm going to send you an email with the update on that. But thank you all for popping in and sticking around. Any last minute questions before I pop off of here? I do hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. And if you have not yet checked out my latest video on self-publishing but without Amazon KDP, then I do encourage you to go ahead and check that out. Listen, and if I was biased in the video, you can let me know, because I started off that video and I'm like, I'm gonna try not to be biased, but as I started talking, I'm just like, oh man, I think I'm a little biased in this video, but let me know. How does marketing on Facebook and IG work for you? Listen, I have not done very well on Facebook. I'm gonna try Facebook, like now with this new page, I'm gonna try working out Facebook. I don't know how to say that correctly, but this time around, I'm going to give Facebook a try, like a real good try. But in the past, Facebook has not been something that worked for me. In terms of Instagram, Instagram works for me as a platform that is kind of like a whatever platform. So it's more like, I post this to YouTube, I post this to TikTok. Oh, let me go post this on Instagram. That has worked for me. Something else that has also worked is utilizing Instagram stories and putting those direct links. However, I feel like my biggest issue with Instagram is because it's more of that whatever platform. I haven't really built a I haven't really built a strong relationship with the people on Instagram. So sometimes when I post just in my stories, it can come off like just salesy or always selling. So my new approach is to try to post like a story every day that's kind of more like a behind the scenes or like a hey, how you're doing or something like that. So that way I'm kind of using stories to build a relationship. And then I'm trying to deliver more value. So now what I'm doing is, because my content, my business is different. So before it was a product based business. So I could just post my product and whatever. People come here to buy sticky notes, they don't care. But now that I have a service based business, I do have to spend some time offering value. So I do have to create content that is informative, that is inspiring, so I can offer like value before actually talking about my offer. Because when you have a service based business, people think of you as salesy, even though when you have a product based business, you're literally talking about your products all the time, but people don't get that same salesy feel or vibe. So that's what I would say. If you have a product based business, it's perfectly okay to just post your products and post your products in real life. But if you have a service-based business, then you need to spend some time trying to really offer value and build relationships for Instagram. Free Excel lessons. HubSpot is free tool as well as Khan Academy. Oh, thank you so much. Let me write that down. HubSpot and Can. I used Can like for my students. I've never actually used it for myself. I'll check that out. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So yeah, so that's my new Instagram strategy, you guys. I'm going to be trying my best. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, my new Facebook page is Shanice on Biz. Yes, I actually created that this morning. So yeah, that's my new Facebook page. And then my Instagram, my new Instagram is also Shanice on Biz. So both of those are two new platforms if you want to follow me there and see my strategy and see if it's something that could work for you. And the strategy on Shanice on Biz is completely different from the strategy that I used on Shanice DK Designs. Because again, product-based business versus service-based business, completely different strategy. Something else, the last thing as I leave, and I said that several times before, but the last thing is something I've really noticed by studying bigger creators, and that's kind of my season right now. I'm in a season of studying because I feel like if you're going to have a service-based business, you need to know more than your audience. So I'm really in like a studying season, trying to pack my brain with as much information as possible. And something that I've been noticing is that it's really hard to be as effective on all platforms. Like, for instance, you have creators who are big on YouTube, massive on YouTube, and you check on like their Instagram or their TikTok, and it's like significantly different, right? It's so much lower. Or you have creators who are huge on Instagram and they just can't seem to break into TikTok, or they just can't seem to break into YouTube. And that just shows that it's really hard, really, really hard to be effective on all platforms. It also shows that the content that you post on one platform, as much as we could just repost that content, it's not going to perform the same on other platforms. And that happens to me all the time. For instance, I just posted a shorts on YouTube. And right now, I feel like that short is right now at 3.3K, right? I posted the exact same shorts on TikTok, and it's literally sitting at 50 views. So your content is not going to perform the same way, and each platform is not going to give you the same thing. So you just have to find the platform that works best for you. And this is going to change. So at one point, TikTok was working really well for me, and I was killing it on TikTok. And right now it's a little slow. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little slow. So right now I'm trying my best to kill it on YouTube. And so that's, that sometimes happen in business. Sometimes you build up one platform and then you move on to another platform, and that's completely okay. You write poetry. Any advice? Let's see. What advice can I give to you? I would say you just trying to get into poetry communities. So try to connect with other people that also write poetry could be a great approach to take. Um, and just because all you said was I write poetry, so that's all I can say is try to connect with other people that write poetry, and learn from them. Your rebranding. I just started pages back up, both Facebook and IG. That's why I asked the previous pages. Listen, okay, I'm in the listen. We should connect. Let me, if you follow me on Instagram at Shanice on Biz, I'm going to follow you right back. Thank you, Sherry. When I check that, I'm gonna follow your page as well. I'll follow you right back because I'm in the same place too, right? So I'm creating all new everything. I'm right now I have eight I have, yeah, I think eight. I have 8 followers on Instagram right now, and I have 5 on TikTok. And honestly, I feel proud because I literally started those pages 2 days ago. I mean, on one hand, I am cross promoting. So I did post like something on Shanice DK Designs to say, hey, follow me over here. And I'm like, I have almost 1,200. Why y'all ain't follow me? Like, only 8? No, it's not giving what it's supposed to be giving. But proud of the 8 that I've gotten so far. So it's really exciting to start something new because social media is, you know what I mean? Like, and this happens to a lot of people, right? Where you have a page and your page has 100 and something thousand, and then you start a new business and the new business only has like 5. It's like people don't they don't really jump across what you're doing like that. So interesting, definitely. Should I make poetry skits on IG trying to gain more sales and more? Listen, if you think you're great at skits, yes, definitely. That's one approach. If you're not great at skits and skits are going to be too long to film, you can share little snippets of your poetry. You can read something to someone. I mean, yeah, whatever you think you are good at, that's really going to let you shine, let your poetry shine, while at the same time not giving it all away. Yeah, I 100% recommend it because that's always the biggest challenge is how do you deliver value but still make your products or services desirable. Like with a product-based business, it's easier because I have the product and you want the product. But with a service-based business, it's I'm telling you this information, but I can only share this much because if I share any more than this, why are you going to come now to talk to me privately? So it's the same thing with a book. How can I share this much about the book, but not tell you everything that's in the book so you still go purchase the book? So definitely spend some time thinking about that. One strategy I heard someone say, and it's not really going to work for your business, really, is on your social media, you give the what, and then in your private sessions, you give the how. So, what you should be doing is marketing your books. How you actually go about marketing your book, you need to kind of book a call with me and we can talk about a strategy that works for you. So, hopefully, that's something that you can find a way to apply to your business. But yeah, so that is that. We gonna pop off of here. It has been great. It's been amazing. Almost getting to an hour. I'm not gonna stay for an hour today, but I'm gonna see y'all on Thursday. It makes sense, yes. So I'm gonna see y'all on Thursday. You are most welcome. And somewhere around 12:15, rough before 12:45 is what I can say. So see you all on Thursday. If there's anything that you would prefer for me to cover on Thursday, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those like literally anywhere on my channel and I'll see it. But enjoy the rest of your day and tomorrow, and I'm gonna see y'all on Thursday. Thank you, Sherry.